Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Curiosities Unlocked, where we will count down true crime stories, mysteries, a little history, and even some conspiracy. And I'm really excited about today's episode. One, because it's our Halloween edition. And two, I'm going to be counting down 5 Halloween facts that you don't know. Now, you may know, or you may not know. So let's get started. Let's just jump into it, starting with number 5, the night before Halloween, where some people call it Devil's Night. This night goes by many names, but it's often believed that some traditions we practice today, like egging and toilet papering, stem from an old Scottish tradition called Cabbage Night, where eligible bachelors and bachelorettes would pick up cabbage and analyze the shape and size to discover what their future spouse looks like. Weird. Then, after the vegetable revealed all it could, it was hurled at a front door. Sounds familiar? Similar to egging. What do you call the night before Halloween? Let me know in the comments and let me know where you're from. Where I'm from, it was called Devil's Night, but not a lot of places called it that. So even though pranks the night before Halloween are mostly harmless, there have been times throughout history, generally in economic downturns, when serious acts of vandalism have been committed. During the Great Depression, for example, many were concerned about teens wreaking havoc the night before Halloween. 40 years ago, arsonists in Detroit were setting the night sky orange. They would set fires to trash cans, vacant buildings, and much more. These pranks peaked in 1984 when more than 800 were set within the last 3 nights of this Halloween evening. To stop arsonists, Detroit responded by enforcing curfews for unaccompanied youths under 18. At the same time, they started a city watch to protect the city. Detroit have steadily decreased to near normal levels. The scary night before Halloween is now called Angel's Night. Number 4, the origins of haunted houses. Not the real haunted houses, the one that keeps us entertained during Halloween. The haunted house is a tradition dating back to the 19th century in London, when new forms of entertainment began to surface. Influences range from Marie Tussaud and her creations in 1802, which brought to light the grisly, decapitated heads of French historical figures, to more modern interpretations such as Disney's Haunted Mansion. Today, haunted houses are everywhere. The most common feature are props, decorations, and lots of screaming and making them all perfect for Halloween. Love me a good scary house. Haunted houses became popular in America around the time of the Great Depression. Seems everything started with the Great Depression, in an effort to keep rowdy teens occupied and off the streets. Makes sense. Some cities across the country were so concerned with the devilish antics surrounding Halloween that they even considered banning the holiday altogether. But instead, many communities decided to take a different approach, promoting the traditions we are familiar with today, like Halloween parties, costume parades, haunted houses, and trick-or-treating. Now, I love scary things. I don't know if I like to be scared that much, but I do love scary things. But this haunted house is definitely terrifying. People with heart conditions are warned against buying tickets. The former Georgia Antique Center is where this haunted house takes place and is so realistic and inescapable that people were terrified of it. Despite the fact that haunted houses have been around for centuries, this one is different because of how terrifying it is. If you haven't been there, or if you haven't seen it, check it out. Coming in at number 3, trick-or-treating. As a kid, I always enjoyed trick-or-treating. But as I grew up and became an adult, I always looked at it as kids begging for candy, where you could just go to the store and buy it. Do you feel the same? Well, let's learn the origins of it. The holiday began in Europe around 2,000 years ago and was originally a festive for honoring the souls of the recently deceased and fending off ghosts. From Germany to Italy, the tradition of wearing scary costumes and going door to door begging for treats has been a part of Halloween across the country. The first trick or treaters were poor children who came to Irish and Scottish villages on October the 31st looking for treats. In exchange, they would offer to pray for the souls of their neighbors' recently departed loved ones. Trick or treating has long been a part of the American holiday tradition. However, during World War II, everyone's focus shifted, and many traditions were set aside as the country rallied together to win the war. Then a little thing known as the 1950s baby boom happened, and trick-or-treating was quickly revived shortly after the nation's sugar rationing ended, and remains extremely popular today as Americans spend roughly $2.6 billion on Halloween candy. Now the war brought about a boom of babies, but I wonder how many of those babies were actually born on October the 31st. Do you know anyone born on October the 31st? Comment below and let us know. Number 2, an unpopular day to give birth. Who wouldn't want to be born on Halloween? According to research, fewer babies are born on Halloween than on surrounding days. 5% fewer than any other day of the year, according to one study, leading many researchers to question whether women have more control over when they go into labor than we previously thought. Halloween, in particular, is a kind of perfect for old wives' tales because the holiday has so much to do with spooky, creepy, mysterious, and supernatural themes to begin with. Like, a baby being born on Halloween will have second sight. A baby being born on Halloween will be immune to evil spirits. It's unlucky to give birth on Halloween. A baby born on Halloween can read dreams. Interesting. A baby born on Halloween will be able to communicate with spirits. And lastly, they might be a king or a queen. What you think? Can women ultimately choose when they go into labor, or is it just a coincidence that fewer babies are born on Halloween? Let me know in the comments below. I'm interested to know what you think. Number 1, finding love. Did you know that people used Halloween to find love? For centuries, Halloween has been thought to be the perfect day to find one's soulmate. I mentioned cabbage night earlier, but that fortune-telling tradition is only one of many that have long been associated with Halloween. Bobbing for apples is another tradition that has romantic roots, originally consisting of women bobbing for apples representing different male suitors. I always thought bobbing for apples was disgusting, but another interesting game required participants to pull out a strand of their hair, release it in the wind, and the direction it floated revealed the direction of their true love. One game said to predict the future spouse was very difficult. The player had to walk backwards during a full moon while staring into a mirror and reciting an incarnation. If done properly, the face of the player's future spouse would appear in the mirror. The other popular tradition was placing 2 chestnuts on a stove or fire, each representing a partner in a romantic pairing, to see if they were stable together. Do you know of any other Halloween traditions to find love, or any other traditions? I would love to hear them. Well, that's it for our 5 Halloween facts that you didn't know, or maybe you did know, or maybe you didn't know. Please like and subscribe and leave comments below and let us know what you think. See you next time. Bye.